Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going way back to the 16th century.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at this rare play called A New Interlude called Thersytes.
Mm-hmm.
It's super interesting because it blends history and literature and, all those fun little quirks about human behavior
Yeah.
that just never seem to go out of style.
Yeah.
So this should be a good one.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how this plays an interlude,
Okay.
which kind of acts as a bridge between the morality plays of the Middle Ages, and then you move into the more elaborate dramas of, like, Shakespeare's time.
Oh, cool. So it's sort of a missing link.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, try and imagine, like, a stage sometime between 1537 and 1561.
Okay, yeah.
With actors bringing the story to life.
Right.
For an audience who is eager for entertainment and maybe a little bit of moral instruction.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the play's title doesn't hold back on the theme either. The full title is A New Interlude called Thersytes. This interlude, following to doth, declare how that the greatest boasters are not the greatest doers.
Wow. Okay, so we know right off the bat that we're going to be meeting a character who is all talk
Exactly.
and no action.
And this play was super popular.
Oh, yeah, incredibly so.
Really?
It would have been performed at universities, in noble households, even at court.
Wow.
We get a glimpse into the humor and anxieties of the Tudor era through this.
Huh. So let's meet our hero Thersytes,
Yes,
fresh from the Trojan War.
that's right.
He comes on the scene and he's armed with a club.
A club.
Yeah, a club.
That's it.
He claims all his fancy armor was destroyed back at camp when he's cooking dinner
Oh, sure.
for the troops. Sure. Thersytes, we believe you.
The playwrights were very clever here because they actually drew Thersytes from Greek mythology.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's in the Iliad by Homer.
Oh, wow.
And, well, he's known for his ugliness and his tendency to boast.
Right.
So they took this established archetype
Okay.
and cranked it up to 11.
I like that.
Yeah.
So he's a larger-than-life comedic figure
Yeah.
for the Tudor audience to enjoy.
But Thersites needs armor.
Right.
Not just any armor, though. He needs the best.
The best. Okay.
So he goes straight to Mulciber, the blacksmith of the gods.
Mm-hmm.
But even while he's begging for this epic gear, he can't resist bragging about how he's going to conquer everyone.
Oh, gosh. Of course.
In everything.
Yeah.
He's just going on and on.
Right.
He even throws in some Latin phrases to try and sound all intellectual and intimidating.
Of course he does.
It's kind of funny.
I mean, it's like he's trying to compensate for something.
Right.
He's relying on someone else to equip him for battle,
Yeah.
yet he's puffing himself up as if he's already invincible.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like, as all this boasting masking some sort of deep insecurity.
Right. Like maybe it's a 16th century version of imposter syndrome.
Oh, totally.
Or something, hiding behind this facade of bravado.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the armor that he demands. Oh, it just gets better and better.
I like that.
So he wants a helmet that can withstand Jupiter's lightning bolts and a breastplate that's strong enough to have mountains fall on it.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, the guy clearly has a very active imagination
right.
or a very fragile ego.
This armor is a fantastic symbol, don't you think? It kind of speaks to that human tendency to just build up our defenses
Right.
and project this image of strength and confidence that might not really match reality.
Oh, Kobo, yeah.
Like, we're all just wearing these suits of armor to hide our vulnerabilities.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So Thersites finally gets all decked out in his impressive armor,
Okay.
and he sets off on a, shall we say, tour of challenges.
Oh, a tour.
And
Okay.
he picks fights with everyone imaginable. King Arthur, Robin Hood, giants from before the flood. I mean, he even throws down the gauntlet to the devil himself.
Oh, my word.
Of course, no one actually accepts his challenges.
Right.
It's brilliant satire.
Yeah, totally.
By having Thersites target both real and mythological figures, the playwrights are kind of poking fun at that human tendency to inflate our own importance.
Yeah, totally. It's like we all want to be the hero of our own stories.
Exactly.
Even if those stories are totally outlandish.
Okay, you ready for this?
Okay.
So picture this. Thersites. He's all geared up and ready to conquer the world.
All right.
He encounters a snail.
A snail.
Yeah, a snail. And here's where the facade starts to crumble.
Okay.
After all that bluster, Thersites is absolutely terrified
Mm.
of this tiny creature.
Yeah.
He even calls for his servants, which, by the way, never actually show up, to slay this monster.
Oh, that's...
Just then, A soldier named Miles walks in and sees this whole ridiculous display, and being a practical, no-nonsense kind of guy, he just starts mocking Thersytes mercilessly for being a coward.
I love it.
This scene is so important. I think it highlights the play's central message. Actions speak louder than words.
Totally.
Thersytes, with all his talk and no action, is exposed as a fraud. It's a powerful reminder of the value of humility. Of letting our deeds, not our boasts, define us.
Yeah.
Humility, Thersytes. I don't think those two words have ever been uttered in the same breath.
Right.
He runs away from the soldier and hides behind, get this, his mother.
No.
Yeah, and he's convinced that thousands of horsemen are after him.
This is hilarious.
I know, right?
This big, tough guy decked out in this impressive armor.
Right.
And he's reduced to a whimpering mess.
I know.
By a snail.
And a bit of trash talk.
It reminds us that courage isn't about puffed up chests and loud pronouncements. It's about how we face our fears, big or small, snail size or otherwise.
Okay, so just when you think things can't get any more absurd, Telemachus, the son of Ulysses, arrives with a letter for Thersytes.
A letter.
And here's where we see a really interesting shift in the power dynamic. The letter is full of apologies and flattery from Ulysses, who begs Thersytes to forgive past wrongs. He even wants Thersytes' mother to do him a favor.
What's the favor?
To charm Telemachus' worms.
Charm his worms?
Yeah. Thersytes is thrilled. He loves to have power over Ulysses.
Okay.
But his mother is having none of it. She's still angry about how Ulysses treated them in the past.
That's interesting, right? Thersytes might bully those who are weaker than him.
Right.
Like his mother.
Yeah.
But when he's faced with someone more powerful, like Ulysses, he completely buckles.
Yeah.
I mean, it reveals a lot about his character, don't you think?
It really does.
Yeah.
Oh, and we can't forget about the charm itself.
Oh, right. The worm charm.
It's a long, nonsensical speech delivered by Thersytes' mother. It's full of bizarre imagery and rhymes that don't even make sense.
Right, of course.
The audience would have been in stitches.
Oh, yeah.
It's a prime example of the play's comedic style.
Yeah.
It pokes fun at boasting.
Right.
Social hierarchy.
Yeah.
All those superstitious beliefs that were still prevalent in the 16th century.
Yeah.
But the story's not over yet. Remember Miles?
Oh, Miles, the soldier.
Yeah, the soldier who called Thersytes' bluff. Well, he comes back.
Oh, he does.
He's ready for round 2. And true to form, Thersytes does what he does best. He runs away.
Of course.
Leaving all of his fancy weapons behind.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it seems like this whole play is structured around this cycle.
Okay.
Thersytes brags, encounters a challenge, flees, and then brags again. It reinforces the idea that all of that boasting is just a flimsy mask for cowardice.
Yeah.
A lot of noise, very little substance.
Which raises an important question for all of us, even today. What do we truly value?
Ooh, good question.
Are we impressed by, just empty words and bravado? Or do we recognize that true strength actually lies in humility and letting our actions speak for themselves?
Yeah, that's a good point. So do you see any parallels between Thersytes and people you might encounter in your own life?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Those who are all talk and no action, who try to mask their insecurities with bluster and bravado.
All the time.
Right.
I think it's fascinating how a play from the 16th century can still resonate with us today.
Yeah.
I mean, bragging hasn't gone out of style.
It hasn't.
And we often see people trying to project an image that just doesn't quite match reality.
It's not just about individual behavior either, is it? I mean, think about our broader culture.
Right.
How often do we reward flash and self-promotion over genuine accomplishments and humility?
It happens all the time. It's a lot to consider, but I think that's what makes this deep dive so rewarding. We're not just learning about an obscure play, we're engaging with timeless questions about human nature and the values that shape our lives. It's like we're holding a mirror up to ourselves and to society and just seeing what reflections stare back.
Thersytes might be a comedy, but it really does offer some serious food for thought.
Absolutely. And ultimately, it leaves us with a sense of hope. It reminds us that even amidst the chaos and folly of the world, there's still a place for virtue, humility, and faith.
Yeah.
Those values might not always be flashy or attention-grabbing, but they're the ones that endure.
Have you found yourself thinking differently about bragging and humility
Oh, for sure.
since we started this deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing these themes play out in your own life or in the world around you?
Oh, absolutely. As you go about your day, maybe you'll start to notice the Thersytes figures in your own life, those who boast and bluster but ultimately fail to deliver.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, this play will inspire you to cultivate a bit more humility in your own interactions, to let your actions speak louder than your words, to be a miles in a world filled with Thersytes figures.
That's a great point, but hold on, we're not quite done yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's one final thought-provoking element in this play that I think you're going to find really resonates with you. It involves a bit of historical mystery.
Oh, I love a good mystery.
That adds another layer to this already fascinating story.
Okay, I'm intrigued. As we kind of dig deeper into Thersytes, it becomes really clear that the playwrights weren't just going for laughs.
Right.
They were trying to weave in some pretty profound messages
Okay.
about how to actually live a good life, even amidst all this absurdity.
Okay, I like that. So, what are some of the messages that really stand out to you?
Well, we already touched on humility,
Right.
which is a major theme,
Yeah.
running through this whole play.
Right.
The Thersytes is a cautionary tale,
Okay.
showing us what happens when we let pride and boasting overshadow genuine action and character.
Yeah, he spends so much time talking himself up
Right?
that he never actually accomplishes anything worthwhile.
Exactly.
It's like that saying,
What is it?
empty vessels make the most noise.
That's a good one. Yeah. And the play contrasts Thersytes' empty words with the quiet courage of characters like Miles.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The soldier who doesn't brag, but also isn't afraid to challenge Thersytes' ridiculous behavior.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that true strength isn't about putting on a show.
Right.
It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard
Exactly.
or even when no one's watching.
Now, another theme that's woven into the play is obedience.
Oh.
In the world of Thersytes, respecting authority, particularly parents and rulers, is paramount.
We see this play out in Thersytes' relationship with his mother.
Right.
Like, he might bully her and boss her around,
Uh-huh.
but he still ultimately obeys her even when he doesn't want to.
Yeah, and remember, this play was performed in the Tudor era,
Right.
a time when challenging the monarchy could have some pretty serious consequences.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the play's emphasis on obedience really reflects the political realities of the 16th century.
So it's partly a product of its time,
Right.
but it also taps into this broader idea of living a virtuous life. One that upholds social order and respects those in positions of power.
Precisely. But it's not just about blindly following the rules, is it?
Right.
There's also this element of using your judgment,
Yeah.
of recognizing true virtue and acting accordingly.
Like when Thersites' mother, despite her initial reluctance, agrees to help Telemachus
Yes,
by performing that ridiculous worm charm.
Oh, right.
She could have easily refused,
Yeah.
but she chose to do what she felt was right,
Yeah.
even though Telemachus' father Ulysses had wronged her in the past.
It's a powerful moment
It is.
because it suggests that true obedience isn't about blind loyalty,
Yeah.
but about aligning yourself with what you believe is good and just.
So it's about having a moral compass
Yes.
and letting it guide your actions, even when those actions might seem strange
Right.
or silly.
Or even silly like charming someone's worms.
Exactly. And finally, Thersites leaves us with a message of faith.
Oh, okay.
It encourages the audience to trust in God's plan and to pray for the well-being of the king and queen.
It's like a reminder that even in a world filled with braggarts and fools, there's a higher power at work.
Yes.
It's a message of hope and comfort.
Yes.
That's in a world that could often feel unpredictable and even dangerous.
Yeah. And by living virtuous lives, embracing humility and obedience, the play suggests that we can find favor in God's eyes.
It speaks to that human desire to live a life of meaning and purpose.
It's amazing how these themes from a 16th century play can still resonate with us today.
I know, it's incredible. We still encounter people like Thersytes,
Oh, yeah.
those who prioritize appearances over substance, who try to mask their insecurities with arrogance and bravado.
Yeah, and the play kind of challenges us to think about how we respond to those people.
Right.
Do we buy into their hype, or do we see through their facades
Uh-huh.
and recognize the value of genuine character and action?
Yeah, it encourages us to cultivate humility in our own lives, to focus on our actions rather than just constantly trying to prove our worth.
I like that.
It's about letting our deeds speak for themselves.
and to be critical of the messages that we're bombarded with every day.
Yeah.
To question whether we're valuing substance over style, genuine accomplishments over empty self-promotion.
It's a lot to consider.
It is.
But I think that's what makes this deep dive so rewarding.
I agree.
You know, we're not just learning about an obscure play. We're engaging with these timeless questions about human nature
Right.
and the values that shape our lives.
Yeah, it's like we're holding up a mirror
Yeah,
to ourselves and to society and seeing what reflections stare back at us.
absolutely.
Thersytes might be a comedy,
Right.
but it offers some really serious food for thought.
It does, and it ultimately leaves us with a sense of hope.
Okay.
You know, it reminds us that even amidst the chaos and folly of the world, there's still a place for virtue, humility, and faith.
Yeah.
Those values might not always be flashy or attention-grabbing, but they're the ones that truly endure.
So have you found yourself thinking differently about bragging and humility since we started this deep dive?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Are you seeing these themes play out in your own life
Absolutely.
or in the world around you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think as you go about your day, you'll probably start to notice the Thersytes figures in your own life.
Oh, interesting.
You know, those who boast and bluster but ultimately fail to deliver.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, this play will inspire you to cultivate a bit more humility
Mm.
in your own interactions, to let your actions speak louder than your words, to be miles in a world filled with Thersytes figures.
I love that. That's a great point, but hold on, we're not quite done yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's one final thought-provoking element in this play that I think will really resonate with you.
Okay.
It involves a bit of a historical mystery.
Ooh, I love a good mystery.
That adds another layer to this already fascinating story.
All right, lay it on me. I'm intrigued.
Okay, so tell me more about this historical mystery you mentioned.
Well, you know, remember how we were talking about the play's emphasis on obedience?
Right, particularly to the crown.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's this line in the epilogue that kind of stands out as a bit peculiar.
Okay, what is it?
It says, the playwright urges the audience to pray for the queen, lovely Lady Jane, and the prince that he hath sent them between, to augment their joy and the commons' felicity.
So, at first glance, it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Just another call for loyalty to the monarchy.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting.
Right.
Remember how we talked about the play being written sometime between 1537 and 1561?
Yeah, that was the historical window.
Right, based on the references in the text.
Yeah.
So now consider this. Lady Jane Grey was only queen for 9 days in 1553.
Oh, wow. That's right.
It was very short-lived.
Very controversial.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does that line about Lady Jane Grey and her prince fit into the play's timeline?
Yeah, it does.
If it was written before or after her reign?
That's the mystery. If the play was written before 1553, it's highly unlikely the playwright would have even included that line.
Right.
And if it was written after 1553, well, Lady Jane Grey wasn't queen anymore.
Right.
And her legitimacy was highly contested.
So we've got ourselves a little historical puzzle.
Exactly.
Little anomaly.
It's a fascinating detail that has puzzled scholars for years.
I bet. What are some of the theories?
Well, some people believe that the line might have been added later.
Okay.
Perhaps during a revival of the play. You know, maybe during Queen Elizabeth's reign.
Oh.
Maybe somebody wanted to kind of subtly pay homage to Lady Jane Grey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Despite all the complex issues surrounding her claim to the throne.
Right. So it would be like this subtle nod to a controversial figure.
Right.
Maybe even a way to evoke sympathy or just spark a little conversation.
Exactly. Others have suggested that the line could actually be a deliberate anachronism, a way for the playwright to create a sense of historical distance for the audience.
So rather than being a factual error, it's an intentional artistic choice.
Exactly.
It's kind of like saying, hey, this story happened in a different time.
Right, with different political realities.
Yeah, that's another interesting interpretation.
It adds yet another layer of complexity
Right.
to this already fascinating play.
It does. So we're left to wonder
Right.
about the playwright's intent
Yeah.
and all the different ways audiences might have interpreted this line over time.
It's incredible how a single line can open up so many questions.
Oh, I know, right?
And interpretations.
Even centuries after the play was written.
It reminds us that history is rarely neat and tidy.
That's for sure.
It's full of these contradictions and mysteries that invite us to look closer.
To dig deeper.
That's what I find so captivating about this kind of deep dive.
Me too.
We're not just passively taking in information.
Right.
We're actively engaging with it, wrestling with its ambiguities, and constructing our own understanding of the past.
So why should our listeners care about this seemingly insignificant detail?
Mm.
You know this little puzzle about Lady Jane Grey in a 16th century play?
Well, I think it highlights the importance of critical thinking and recognizing that history is never simple or straightforward.
That's a good point.
There are always multiple perspectives and interpretations.
Absolutely.
What might seem like just a footnote can actually be a window into a much larger world of historical debate and intrigue.
It's like that one line about Lady Jane Grey is a tiny crack in the surface of history. And by peering through it, we get this glimpse into a whole universe of possibilities and interpretations.
It reminds us to question our assumptions.
Right.
And to embrace the joy of exploring those unanswered questions.
I love that. This deep dive into a new interlude called Thersytes has been so much fun.
It has.
You know, we've gone from bragging and battles to snails and satire.
Yeah, and even a little bit of historical mystery.
I know, right? It just goes to show that sometimes the most unexpected sources can lead to the most fascinating insights.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of a 16th century interlude, its enduring themes, and those intriguing historical puzzles that still keep us guessing.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to finally unlock the secret of that line about Lady Jane Grey.
Yeah, do a little research dive into the different theories and see what conclusions you come to.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Remember, the joy is in the journey.
Absolutely.
In asking questions and embracing the thrill of the unknown.
So until next time, keep exploring.
Yes, keep learning and keep those minds sharp.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.